Hey guys, this is USS Adidas, and this is a video of a battle I had in my New Mexico about 5-6 days ago, and in it I'm hoping to help some of you guys on aiming and some tips, and hopefully that you will find them useful. Another video you definitely need to watch before watching this video is a video which documents the use of the Crab V1 gun sight by Mebus LW, which is available in the Aslan mod packs. Mebus LW also has the Crab V2, V3 gun sight available, and the other gun sights which I highly recommend are by Browser, the V1 Cobra, the V2 Dragonfly, and the V3 Turtle. In this video I'll be using the V2 Dragonfly. I highly recommend those gun sights to anyone watching this. The Aslan mods are available to anyone
Action stations
in the community and are highly useful. So basically, in this video, like I said, you have to watch the Crab V1 gun sight video in order to understand how to use and aim with this gun sight, because once you're able to do that and see this video, you're able to put the pieces together a little bit. But basically, you know, a ship moving at a perfect perpendicular line, moving at 30 kilometers per hour, so a cruiser, if it shows a shell travel time of 8 seconds, you're going to put the 8 right at the end of its ship, as long as it's moving in a perfect perpendicular line, showing beautiful broadside, but that's not always the case. This game is more about angled shots and, you know, noticing which direction the ship is moving on the mini-map, and consequently decreasing and cutting down on the lead of the shell travel time corresponding on your gun sights in order to make the shots. So whether he's coming away from you, you put the, you know, the cursor of your gun sight down as it's coming towards you. If it's heading away from you, you put it up so that the bullets intercept him as he's heading away from you, obviously. Anyone with the basic fundamentals of this game obviously already knows that, but definitely watch the Crab V1 gun sight, which I will link to this video prior to watching this. But for now, I'm going to do what I can to break down all the shots I make here to help you become a better player. This Cleveland phases out on me, so unfortunately I'm not able to make the shots. But there is another yummy Cleveland, so let's break down this shot before I make the shot. So he's in shell velocity time, how long it's going to take your bullets to get there, is 9.63 seconds. Looking at the mini-map, you can see that he is heading away from us on the mini-map, and using the tiny squares inside the mini-map as a 90-degree reference point, you can see the angle at which he's leaving us at, roughly at about a 30-degree angle. So you're going to cut down on the shell travel time, which is indicated by the ticks on the gun sight. So you're going to cut down on the lead of that, but you're going to put the gun sight a little bit over him in order to compensate for the direction he's heading away from you. And as you can see, I make the shot. Afuso gets a couple really good hits on him prior to mine. He phases out, but I land up getting a nice beautiful citadel, first blood, and my first kill for the game.
Good.
You tell him, Emperor Palpatine, you tell him. On the minimap you see the remnants of an Oba Japanese cruiser coming around. And there he is right there. He's in a turn, so he's obviously traveling slower than his maximum speed of 34.9 knots. So the shell velocity time at 7.84 seconds, and lining that up with the gun sight reticle and the ticks, I'm able to put, you know, 7 right at the end of his ship. I adjust for his lead. Sorry, the video cut out there, and I had to hit my mouse buttons. I end up getting a citadel there. Okay. So To be perfectly honest, nothing really much happens between now and the next several minutes. I get a few hits. There is a shot I want to break down, to which I'm going to fast forward and speed up to. I shoot at the Oba, but he ends up getting killed by that Fuso that I essentially stole the kill from before, that my first blood kill. And I get a tiny ricochet on that New Mexico, but now he's my target, so yes, my bad, I do have some shots to break down. So,
It's a trap!
as you can see, shell velocity of 6.93 seconds, so for a ship traveling at approximately 20 knots, you take the shell travel time and divide it by 2, so 3.5 roughly, which is why the 3 is basically in the middle of the ship, so that your shell dispersion will cover him front to back. And I end up scoring 5 hits for about 9,000 damage. So again, same situation, 5.87 divided by 2, a little over 2.5, and 2.5 is roughly around the middle of his ship, and these shots again land beautifully for 8 hits and another 10,000 damage. And as my ship starts to turn, my guns are traversing their slow traverse, and I unfortunately do not get any more additional hits on this New Mexico. Or actually maybe I do, but it does minimal damage, and basically he just burns to death anyways, so. Alright, so looking at the mini-map at H2, the Cleveland, you can see him heading away from the battle. He's at 17 kilometers away right now, which is pretty much the extent of my range to which I launch my spotter plane. Waiting for my guns to still traverse. I know we have to cap, so I'm heading towards the seed cap. So I'm watching his angle on the mini-map more than anything before I shoot, and he's like at a 10-degree angle using the 90-degree reference points. I use the vertical components, like on the right-hand side going north-south, and then the horizontal component right below it. So I always use a right horizontal reference point and a lower horizontal vertical reference point on the little mini-map squares. So, seeing the Cleveland heading away, you know that you're going to have to slightly cut down the lead on the travel time, because he is heading slightly away. And because of the distance that he is away, you can give him a little less lead on the reticle at such maximum distances. So using also the radial lines on the gun sight to line up your shot. If you can imagine the radial lines in your head as well, that is also very useful, because it only has so many guides, but for the angles that they're at that aren't on the radial lines, you're going to have to fill in the spaces. It just so happened that he was right on that one radial line, which worked out beautifully. So now I have to traverse my guns once again, to which I'm going to speed up the game a little. Take a couple. Oh yeah, he disappears. Still trying to find something to shoot at. So I take a couple of pot shots at this Cleveland. He's heading away from us, so we're going to slightly decrease the horizontal lead, the shell travel time on the gun sight indicator. He's heading up, so we're going to give him a little bit of lead. And I think I only get like one or two hits on him. Yeah, just one hit, 2 hits for minimum damage. Still waiting for those guns to traverse. But here's a Nuremberg. Now look at this Nuremberg. He's obviously extremely slow. So when a cruiser is moving really slow, the rules of aiming to a battleship apply. You basically cut down the shell travel time by 2, divide by 2, even a little bit less, because I'm pretty sure he was going at 1/4 speed, and so you can cut down even a little bit less, and I end up, needless to say, making him want to go a little bit faster. I take a couple more shots, but as you can see, he's speeding up. He's speeding up at his as fast as he can, and unfortunately these shots do not connect. I still have not taken any damage. So I was going to shoot at this Cleveland, but he started a turn, and it was just too hard of a turn, and then I saw this Colorado, and I'm just like, decisions. So I decided to go for the Colorado. So, looking at the angle he's coming down on, this wasn't a great shot. That's for sure. This was just not a great shot. I was too high up on him, and only 1,000 damage. Colorado eats torpedoes. Cleveland, or the Colorado, divide by half the shell travel time, 5.62 divided by 2, roughly about 2.75 near the middle of his ship, and even though he's in a fairly hard angled turn and heading away from us, able to give him just enough lead, but the lucky son of a bitch gets down to 2,600 health while he's in the middle of a heal, and I think he heals back up to like 8 or 10,000 before he's taken down. You can see on the mini-map, this poor Fuso. About that Minakatsu, he just kind of came out of nowhere, if I recall.
It's a trap!
And...
It's a trap!
So I get a couple more, I get enough on this Cleveland coming up here. We'll break down the shot. Just look at him leading away in the mini-map. That's about a 50-degree angle he's at, so you cut down on the lead by almost half, that is. And all I needed was enough to get that kill. He was at low health. Finally we have that Nuremberg back.
Fire! Fire!
I take a few pot shots, but that Nuremberg started to turn pretty hard before I really got a chance to notice. I had a single ricochet shot off him basically. And I shoot my rear guns in hopes that they will do the job, but did not connect. So, 4.3 seconds, divide by half, and shoot. Battleships, faster battleships, once you get up to, you know, tier 8 and up, they go a little bit faster, obviously, than the lower tier battleships. I shoot this Colorado in hopes of sinking him with my two rear turrets. I get Confederate, and someone else gets the kill, but no big deal. So, here's the Nuremberg, waiting for my guns to traverse. And looking at the minimap, he's at almost a perfect 45-degree angle. Like, if you were to put him right in the middle of that square at the angle he's at, he'd be cutting right down the middle. That's a perfect 45. Now, I find with perfect 45-degree angles, all you do is cut down the lead of your shell travel time by half. And that pretty much is bang on, because the way this gun sight is set up, it's 4 cruisers traveling at 30 knots, roughly at about 30 knots. So seeing him at a beautiful 45-degree angle, which is almost unmistakable, yeah, you just cut down that lead on half, but give him enough lead in the as he's heading away, and I take my first 2 shots, and I could have saved my last 2 shots, because those first 2 shots from my front 2 turrets end up connecting for a citadel and my 3rd kill.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
No, you do not know the power of the dark side. And so now all we're left with is this New Mexico. And for fun, what do we say we... Oh, well, yeah. Gun travel time divide by 2. It's a New Mexico. At that distance, you cannot miss. Okay. Okay. My New Mexico, waiting for my guns to traverse. New Mexico eats one torpedo from the Fujin over there, and with those 2 hits I get high caliber. New Mexico is in his turn.
I was beginning to wonder if you'd got my message.
And finally, as my guns are all ready to shoot, and end up with the kill. Thanks for watching.